Hi guys, my name is Sherman and this is Sherman Spectrum, where we get to talk about LGBTQ content all around the world. And in today's video, we are going to be taking a look at two of my favorite books that I finished. Well, I finished one like literally a couple of days ago, and the other one I finished back in 2020, and that is What About Us, or What If It's Us? What If It's Us and Here's to Us. So both books are written by Beckey Albertilli and Adam. So just so you know, I am a huge fan of Adam. I find his work or his novels to be quite interesting, even though everybody who has read Adam knows his theme with his books. And I also feel like no matter how fictionalized his books might be, there's always this grounding level when he writes, like this morbid, but also this very realistic point about how reality is. And I kind of feel like you can kind of notice that in these two books, even though it is collaborated by both Beckey Albertilli and Adam. So the first book that we're going to be talking about is What If It's Us? So What If It's Us was released in 2018? I've seen some releases in 2018, but I do think that it was released in South Africa in 2019. And both books, or the first book, follows two main characters, Arthur Seuss and Benjamin Aleo. So basically, without spoiling the book, I'm quickly just going to give a little quick description of the book and why I liked it. So in the book, we get Arthur and Ben, who basically meet by chance at a post office, and there's this kind of connection that happens between two boys, but the boys end up getting split up without ever exchanging any contact information. And Arthur Seuss, being the believer and lover in the universe, basically tries everything that he can to track down Ben so that they can have this ultimate connection. What's also interesting is that Arthur is a white Jewish Southern boy from Georgia who also has ADHD, and this is definitely kind of something that you can feel throughout the book. And I did love his character. I related a lot with his character because I just thought that his character was cute. The only reason I did that is because I also liked Ben's character. So Benjamin, or Benjamin Alejo, is Puerto Rican. He is a native New Yorker, and the reason why he was at the post office that day because he just recently went through a breakup. And you know, he's also very self-conscious. You know, his parents are not really rich, they don't have a lot of money, so Ben kind of feels very self-conscious. And we kind of get to see that, you know, even though while reading the book that both Arthur and Ben are completely different characters, they have different tastes, they're kind of connect together with this idea that the universe is trying to bring them together. All right, and the reason why I love this book is, though, even though it is a young adult romance book, or you know, there's a lot of romance in it, and it was kind of nice, especially reading it during the 2020 pandemic. It was definitely something that I wouldn't normally read, but you know, that little romance there was kind of cute, and it was a huge distraction for what happened in 2020. So I would definitely recommend this book to anyone who is just looking for an interesting story. I feel like the story is interesting because even though, you know, Ben is from New York and Arthur is only there in New York this time in the first book because of work, because his mother has to do something in New York, and they're living at their uncle's place at the time. So we definitely know that Arthur has to leave eventually, and I think that's kind of where the whole plot of the story kicks off. Whereas in the second book, which is Here's to Us, you know, happens 2 years later, and we find out that in this book is that both Arthur and Ben now have boyfriends or have love interests. Arthur Seuss definitely has a boyfriend, an official boyfriend, where Benjamin is kind of in like with somebody. And I would definitely say that Here's to Us is a lot more matured than the first one. It still has the same, you know, dynamic drive. You know, there's something about sequels, or most sequels, there's especially sequels that are written maybe 3 or 4 or 5 or even 10 years later. There is something very different about the sequels that kind of not make you want to enjoy the books. So I think because this book is like literally, the sequel is literally like a year apart from the first, or 2 years. You know, this Here's to Us was released in December of 2021. So, you know, there's not that much time, you know, for both writers or both authors to have changed, not only personally, but, you know, to completely change the characters. Both characters are more older and more mature, but, you know, there's still that twinge of seeing your ex again, and you kind of really feel that in the writing. In this book, I really felt the anxiety that Arthur had, and the existential crisis that maybe Ben felt like he was going through. But you get to see both of these young men now grow up and become more mature, as you know, and they both transform, and you know, you gotta win some to lose some. That's kind of how I felt like this book was. And I basically heard this book on Audible. You know, the first book I actually read on ebook, and with this book I actually read or listened to on audiobook. And that's about it. You know, I want to give more details about these books. I don't want to spoil too much. I just think that if you are a true lover of YA fiction, or LGBTQ fiction for that matter, then this is definitely two books that I would read. Let me know if you guys have actually also read the Benjamin Allaire Sands books. I think it's Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe, and then the sequel, Aristotle and Dante Dive into Deep Waters. So I finished the second sequel to that book, and like many people, I too have an opinion about it. But, you know, because I don't tend to judge books or films too harshly, I kind of liked it. You know, I liked just getting back into familiar characters that you either read or you watch, and you're like, okay, yeah, I definitely missed reading about these two. I would also like to know, who do you picture as the characters in your films or in your books? So I do know that for Ben, I picture Nick Centennial, I'm not sure if that's correct, but he is the character in To All the Boys I Loved Before. And I picture Arthur Seuss, I picture Finn O'Shea as Arthur. Now, I know that they're not exactly the same characters, but I feel like when you are able to create or pick a character from an actor or someone from a film or a movie or a model, and you create your own version of them, it kind of makes the reading a lot more enjoyable and bearable. Because not every young adult fiction book is bearable. You know, there's a lot of teenage angst in most YA adult books, and it can get a little bit off-putting. But for these two books, you know, there's nothing that I can really say that put me off. You know, it's not the best writing, but I think that both Beckey Albertilli and Adam Silvera did the best that they could, and they brought it, and it really worked. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. My name is Sherman, and this is Sherman Spectrum. And if you would like to see more content like this, please remember to like and subscribe and hit that bell notification. And to follow me on my Instagram at FayuVent. If you would like to see more in upcoming videos, please let me know. And tell me in the comments below if you have actually read these books. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.